Hi everyone. So I am traveling. I did a earlier video this morning when I arrived in the hotel for just like a hotel life video. So I wanted to make this video again. I've made two versions of this video before. I have uploaded them a couple of years, I think maybe last year or the year before, to my channel. Now I still see a lot of people, and this is not by any measure a sort of a negative comment, but I see a lot of people that are not prepared when they are traveling. I don't understand why. Maybe because people are in a holiday spirit and they just want to let go of everything, forget all the worries. I understand that, but I think the world is in a bit of a bad mess at the moment, and there are so many negative things that are going on that I think that even when you are on holiday you should really be prepared. Everyday disasters are getting freakishly common. I'm in London at the moment, and about a couple of days ago, one of the hotels, one of the really famous hotels, the Mandarin Oriental, it was going under. I believe it had just completed repairs or finishing up repairs, and there was a huge fire. Now, luckily, nobody was injured. I believe the fire brigade officer. I believe there were 100 fire brigade officers and 15 fire engines that were located that came to address that blaze, and a number of paramedic EMT paramedics with ambulances and so on. Luckily, by God's grace or whatever you call it, nobody was injured at all. So, but there were no people there. I think it was just a few staff members and some workers. But luckily, everyone was safe. So thank God for that. But thank you very much to the London Fire Brigade, London Police, the London Ambulance Service, Air Ambulance Service, and Ground Ambulance Service, all the trauma doctors, the surgeons, medics, nurses. What they've done a phenomenal job over the number of every day they do a phenomenal job. So thank you very much, and also to all those officers, police officers, fire brigade medics, and so on across the world. You people do a phenomenal job, and we normal civilians like I could not live without you people. So thank you very much for that. But sometimes they can't get to you in time. So you need to be prepared, and you can't really say to them, well, it's your job to get to us. I've said this before, they are human too. So, you have to be prepared, especially if you're on holiday. You are always at a risk of, getting caught up in that. And especially if you're in another country where the infrastructure may be a little not what you are used to compared to what the country you're living in. So a lot of people, I see a lot of videos, I see a lot of travel videos, and a lot of people are not prepared for this. Look, people, when you're traveling, please do your research. So know the culture of where you are going. Know the hotel where you're going. Don't just wander into any random hotel. If you are completely carefree, it's your choice, but I will recommend that you thoroughly check out the hotel where you're going, the amenities around it, the place, and so on. When you check into a hotel, ask the staff about the emergency exit plans and the fire plans, and so on and so forth. Ask if they have a medic in the hotel. Ask if if a hotel guest is taken ill, what the procedure is, and so on, and write it down in your notebook. When you're in the hotel, study the fire plan. I'm currently in a hotel at the moment. The fire plan is actually on the door. I'm just going to quickly run and show you. I'm just going to take a torch with me, and I'm just going to move this up. Just have a quick look. Excuse me. So, right, let's just run up to the door. So, that's the fire plan there on the door, but if you can just have a look how small it is. It's ridiculous. Yes, it is in a number of languages, but it's really, really small, and even in good daylight, I was straining to read that properly. So always find out what the plan is when you're in a hotel. Always find out, because it's for your own good. Look, I'm not doing it for me, it's for your own good. Especially if you're with children, find out. And finally, one thing one thing I also wanted to say was, we share a lot on social media. Well, I don't, but I don't really have social media that much. But I'm not a popular person. But anyway, you guys have social media like what is it called, Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter and so on. Websites and WhatsApp and things that I don't even know that exist, that kind of stuff, apps. Look, one of the stories I wanted to share was a really good friend of mine. She's quite a tough person, mentally, and so she's not going to take any sort of rubbish from people, that kind of person. So highly educated, and a lot of people, she's good looking. So she went on holiday with a couple of friends 1 or 2 months ago, and in the hotel, one of the staff members took sort of a shine to her, so on and so forth. So, she kind of just just said yeah, whatever, kind of thing. I'm just here on a holiday, just sort of just let's be professional, and I'll just carry on being in holiday, and so on and so forth. But the guy, he looked her information up on she used Expedia to book her information, and the guy, because he worked for the hotel, they have access to your passports, they have access to your phone numbers, they have access to your date of birth, they have access to usually you type in Mr., Mrs., Doctor, that kind of title kind of thing. So, and you give your full name because it appears on your passport and so on, and some people link it to their Facebook, their Twitter, whatever kind of thing. So this guy kind of traced her and got hold of her phone number, got hold of her email. Obviously, phone number is linked up to WhatsApp and so on and so forth. And he kind of became a stalker within a couple of days. And she was distraught. And luckily, she kind of ended the holiday rather prematurely, and just because she was upset and so on. And he so much so forth that he actually turned up at the station, the departure station, the airport, so on. And she kind of just got rid of him and came back home. But that might be an extreme example, but look, I don't want to scaremonger anyone, but people like that exist, and when you put private information like that on sharing sites, be very, very careful. And this might end up being a 2-part video because I'm kind of rambling, but I want to get my message across to everyone. I'm doing this out of purely because I don't want to scaremonger. I don't want to blame anyone. I don't want to create sort of artificial, made up, false, fake news hype kind of thing. But this is down the line, this is to the point, even though I'm using a lot of words. But I want to sort of try and explain a couple of things to you about being prepared. One, be prepared. Two, keep some element of your information secure. I know it's very difficult to do that these days because everyone demands everything about you. They want to know who your first love was, and who your first dog was that you walked past on a rainy day, past the pet shop, and they want to know what your first grade was when you were at nursery, and they also want to know things like how much you earned for your first job, or what was the highest amount of money you got paid after university, and because apparently that's going to be used as a security question or some nonsense like that. So be very careful about that kind of information, and be very educated about how you share that information. In this video I will cover one of those aspects, especially with the information thing, sharing information in regards to the phone number and email. So I've made two similar videos to this, and I really would like people to go and watch them. And I'm not, again, uh, I'm not doing this for follower increase or monetary value or anything. These are amateur videos, but this is me sort of being concerned about people, because I started traveling when I was at university because of my degree, because of the work I was going into, and the university sending me on long travels, and I was taught sort of how to be prepared by my lecturers, because they are my university lecturers. I mean, who taught me when I was at university, and now I work with them. So a lot of my university lecturers in my field are ex-military. Yeah, pretty much are ex-military, as in they are veterans. They are either retired, or they are veterans, or they are combat injured, and they're not serving anymore, and then a number of them are reserve served veterans, and a number of them are still on the active list, or are on reserves. So a lot of them have traveled in military situations, and a lot of them have traveled in civilian situations, and a lot of them, and they are also academics as well. They work with the university. Obviously, they've been teaching me, and when I was at university, now I work with them. And again, so they teach. Engineer. I am an engineer. And so they teach you. They kind of like they give you a brief on how to travel, because when you go out into the field, when you do your lab work, you'll be out in different countries, you'll be out in different cultures, you'll be out in different climates, you'll be out in different geopolitical situations. I mean, you could go into a country which is perfectly fine, to do some lab work, and the next day, all hell could break loose, and the world could be at war. I mean, that might be an over exaggeration, but it's happened. I mean, it's happening today, and I wish people would just be nice and live together. And maybe I'm a romantic idealist, but that's the way things are. They're out of my control. They are most definitely, maybe you can control them, but general public, these things are out of control. So I really want you to be sort of prepared. And I will cover a few of these things. The information thing, first of all, so be prepared. Have a notebook with you, and I will cover this. This has been a longer video than I thought. I thought I would just cover just the equipment in this video of being prepared, but I really wanted to talk to you passionately about why I'm doing this video and why I'm doing it a third time. And finally, have fun. Absolutely have fun. I'm not trying to be a joy kill. Absolutely not. Honestly, I'm not. But I want you to be prepared, because you take travel insurance with you. You take medical insurance with you. You have home insurance. You have car insurance. And, a lot of people, I said this to a friend, and a friend said, oh, you're overreacting. You're overreacting. But I think, I think I'm not overreacting, because a lot of people buy travel insurance. So why wouldn't you be materially prepared and mentally prepared and have a plan in case of an emergency? Because travel insurance, I mean, if something goes wrong, you're going to be on the phone for a couple of days. But why wouldn't you have physical insurance and insurance in terms of what is in your hand, and mental insurance in terms of a plan in your head, a plan written down, a plan discussed with your family and friends who are traveling with you, a plan discussed with people back home, with your work colleagues and so on. And also just have situational awareness of where you are and what you're doing. But that won't stop you from having, as they say, information and knowledge doesn't weigh anything. It only makes your path better. It makes you a better pathfinder. It makes you a better. You can go and find better places to have fun, but also know how to get out of these places in case something goes wrong. So this is part one. I actually didn't think it was going to last 15 minutes, but I am going to break it down to 15-minute sections. So that was part one, and I'll do a part two, or maybe another few parts following this. So this is really passionate. So thank you very much for watching, and comment. Let me know what you think below. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the other ones. Thanks. Bye.